this is everything that comes with the cap system. You should receive a cap cooping device. Now this is something that you're actually going to mount on a table away from the machine, and this allows you to actually hoop your hats. In addition to this, you'll have the cap driver that actually fits on the machine, and you'll have two cap frames, and you'll have a cap needle plate. And in your toolbox, you should have two short little screws that could be black or silver, and these will actually go in from the bottom, and I'll show you later about that. Now for backing, you should use a real stiff heavyweight tearaway backing, preferably a 3-ounce or 4-ounce tearaway. If you have real thin tearaway backing, then you can double it up. Now some hats won't need backing, and I'll show you which type of hats are like that later on. The cap system comes with one Phillips screw holding the two pieces together. If you take out this one screw, it may not be a Phillips screw, but if you take out this one screw, this sash actually comes loose from the rest of the cap ring, and it could fall apart. So it's important that you leave the screw in until it's on the machine, and of course before you take this off the machine, put the screw back in place, and that way you won't have to worry about the cable coming unbound. Now when you first get your cap system, always make sure that the two cables that are on the cap system are in their own track. Now if you notice on the underside of the cap system, there is a brass piece that holds the cable securely. Now right at where this brass piece is, you'll notice that the cable on one side traveling away from the brass piece will travel at one track, and on the other side it'll travel on the other track. So in this particular case, the cable is traveling to the outside track here, or the inside track this way, and then the cable over on this side is traveling in the other track, and then it follows that same track all the way around. So just make sure that the cable is in its correct track all the way from the top all the way to the underside of the cap system. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to remove your tubular sash and put on the cap sash. I'm going to move the frame over so we have easier access to the screws. Next thing you have to do is remove the cap or the flat needle plate and put on the cap needle plate. And all you have to do is just loosen the two screws that are in the back, the two large screws. You don't have to loosen or remove the small screw in the front. That's just for positioning the needle plate. Now, in your toolbox, you actually have a small oval piece of metal that says Imbro on it. That's a special tool for getting in here close, or you can use just a right angle screwdriver to get underneath the needles here. Now, after you have the screw tightened down on the new cap needle plate, we're going to install the cap system. After you put the cap needle plate back on, you're going to have to put the cap system on. Now, I wanted to show you these two metal tabs that are actually on the machine itself. Those metal tabs will actually slide right over this indentation on these tabs that are actually on the cap driver. Okay, so those two tabs will slide right over the top of these lower tabs on the cap driver. And this will slide over the top of your aluminum bar here, the same place where your tubular sash went. Now I'm going to go ahead and center the x-axis, and then we have to move this whole x-axis back using the back arrow key. Slide the cap system on. Now if your pantograph is too far back, it's going to be difficult to attach this. You want it to be probably at the point where these metal brackets or these metal plates here are right in front of the cap needle plate, and that gives you real easy access. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the two short little black screws and you're going to go up through the bottom metal tab that we were just looking at that's on the machine, or up on the cap driver. Here's a close-up of one of the little screws going in from underneath, and it goes up through that one metal tab that's on the cap driver into the metal tab that's actually on the machine. And it's important that this screw is not too long. If it's too long, it's actually going to jam up with the top bar that your tubular sash was attached to. So make sure that it doesn't go beyond this metal tab. The threads of this screw do not go beyond this metal tab that's actually on the machine. So kind of look over the top of that and make sure your screw is not too long. The screw should be perfectly flush, or just maybe one or two threads showing. If it is too long, then you can just add some washers in here to make it a little bit shorter and not extend beyond this metal tab. Okay, now we need to take out the one screw, the Phillips screw that was holding the two pieces together. So we can move it around a little bit. And we're going to move this top sash so that the holes line up with the holes that are on the machine. And again, we're going to use the same screws that you used for your to hold your tubular sash in place, but you have to make sure that those screws aren't too long. The same problem we had at the bottom there. If they're too long, it'll get jammed up with the other mechanism. So make sure that when you put the screws in, they don't extend down beyond the metal plate that they're going into. Make sure they don't hit that other metal tab that's at the bottom. Okay.